rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated if you haven't already. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance of the chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council. We serve voluntarily. It is the board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, a violation, and then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes. The board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave. If necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask that all who plan to speak rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony? Thank you.
Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of last night's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. Is there anyone here to speak on items not on the agenda? So please step to the podium and state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, of course.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Bill Johnson, 2694 Redford Court West. I did turn in a card. And one of the things I like to do is I like to bring you examples of when the code enforcement process works and show you the change. Here's a photo of 615 Drew Street, which actually was on your agenda last meeting. They came in and asked for the fines to be abated because the new owner had come in and taken care of it. This is the way it looked a year ago, and actually behind this truck, you can't see in that photo, is a huge hauling trailer there, and that was there just for a long time. But this is what it looks like now.
Wow.
Well, thank you.
They've taken out some of the overgrown bush and the other trash. So, hey, it's working in this case. I wanted to just share a couple comments with you. My pastor recommended a book, Be Our Guest. It's a training manual that's used in the Walt Disney World to train their cast people. And it describes the experience that they want to create for their guests. This board is all about bright and beautiful from the bay to the beach, and the experience that creates for our present residents and also for our guests. It says in the book, the simple fact is everything speaks to customers. Well, who are our customers? Our fellow residents and our visitors. The work that you do does make a difference, and I commend your diligence and thank you for your service. I invite you to make an inquiry into what happens when the fines just keep accruing for long periods of time. As of May 1 this year, there were 141 code enforcement fines on the books, and those totaled $25,344,854. And just as an example,
What was that number?
141 and $25,344,854.
Thank you.
This is a property on Beecher. The top picture is what it looked like a year ago. There has been some work done on it, but then it stuck, and it's been this way for about 6 months. And here's another property on 1233 Lakeview. It's a property that dates back to 2017. Some of the members of the board may remember it. And this was a year ago, and it's still in the same shape. So, but thank you for your service, and keep up what you're doing.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time. Next on the agenda are the new business items.
Sorry, Mr. Farrar, I made an error and did not place a status update on the agenda for today for Coachman Creek. It's one that you've all heard times in the past. They were scheduled for a status update today, and I didn't get it on the agenda, but their representative is here, if you could.
Start with them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Coachman Creek,
Thank you.
okay.
please approach the podium.
And the address, what was the address? 2625 State Road 590, Building 5.
One more time?
2625 State Road 590, Building 5.
Is there a case number on it?
32-22. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you don't mind stating your name again and
Absolutely. Good afternoon, members of the panel. My name is Nicholas Pizanius. I'm an attorney with Raven Parker Gurley on behalf of the Coachman Creek Condo Association. When we were last here in February, I believe I reported that all permits have been issued. The funding was in place, and pretty much we were in the process of getting ready to actually begin construction. Since February, the temporary staircase has been erected. It's my understanding that Suncoast Restoration has created an access point between the temporary staircase and the back balconies of the unit owners so that they can enter and exit the complex through the back instead of using the, problematic walkway, as we all know. The staircase is outfitted with a solar-powered light fixture so that the unit owners can access it and, enter and exit their units at night without any safety concerns. And it's my understanding that the current walkway has been demolished and is in the process of being framed. Suncoast Restoration gave me an estimated completion date of 3 to 4 weeks from now. The footings of the columns there as well, concrete has been poured into it, and last Wednesday, Karen's Engineering was out on the property to inspect prior to the pouring of the concrete. Other than that, construction is active and ongoing, as you all can imagine, and nothing else to report. In particular, at this time, we would ask that we be allowed to come back for another status update 3 months from now. I think that would be about August or so. My math is terrible, so I do apologize for that, but I think that would be about right so that we can provide a more substantive update as the project moves along.
Did you happen to bring any pictures of the work being done?
Unfortunately, I did not.
That would have helped.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I'll make a note of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
We'd love to
that's
see it.
what, we love those pictures.
Right,
do we need a
I'm
motion
glad
on that?
we're,
A
I
motion.
feel like we're getting closer towards the end here. That's exciting.
right,
Yeah, it's been a long case.
absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's been long for all of us.
So we need a motion to extend it for
Yes,
3
I'm-
months? That's not it's probably not in the book.
Mm,
I don't think it's in the book to extend. I don't know.
I don't think.
No, you just could make a motion to just reset it in 90 days for a
Motion-
status conference.
Okay, thank you, sir. Motion to reset 90 days hence from today's date.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got it.
Thank you very much.
folks. You all have a
Thank you
wonderful
for the
day.
update.
Take care now.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Case 31-23, status update regarding respondents Garrido Family Trust at 818 Chestnut Street.
Good old chestnut.
Here he comes.
Good afternoon, Board. Jason Cantrell, City of Clearwater. The owner is not here today. One of their representatives was here. They're not going to be allowed to speak. But they wanted me to let you know they are working on permitting, and they intend to meet your June compliance date. At this time, there is no permitting submitted, though.
Just to explain, they weren't allowed to speak because we have no documentation showing they had the authority to speak on behalf.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
And the permit hasn't been approved or?
It hasn't been submitted yet. Yes, correct.
It has been applied for?
No, it has not
Oh,
been
okay,
submitted.
gotcha.
So we continue this to next month?
That was your compliance date, was next month, June.
Okay.
Today was just a status update.
Status update, okay.
If I may interject as well, regarding the permit process, I remember from our last meeting, that building had a car enter it and wall and so forth. So based on my experience as a contractor, I know that they're going to need engineered drawings, and those sometimes take a bit, because it is an exterior wall. It's got to comply with, structural building code requirements, wind code, et cetera, and sometimes that is a bit of work. So I can, I would assume the best in that they're dealing with an engineer and getting the proper drawings and package put together for submission. So it's not a surprise to me that they wouldn't have it that quick.
Right.
That's a good point, yeah.
So 4-2 is continued, right?
Thank
Are
you.
we done with that one?
August 20.
Okay.
Yes, you're done with that one. It'll be on your agenda next month for
Okay.
something,
All right.
depending on what happens.
So that was just an update and not.
Right.
Yes.
Right. No
Status
continuance
update,
needed.
right.
Okay, good.
Looks like this one's
Just a
continued.
status.
Yeah, that one's continued.
Next month, we'll hear it
Case,
again.
case 2823, Lau Kelly at 1445 Cleveland Street. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Board. I don't believe the owner is here today. I have not seen him. My name is John Stevens. I'm a code compliance inspector for the city of Clearwater. Again, this is going to be case number 28-23, reference 1445 Cleveland Street. We have one violation here for code section of 3-1502 G2, exterior storage on items that are not for outdoor use. These are the dates that I sent my notice of violation with the compliance date, and I received a certified mail receipt back on February 11th that they had received that communication. This was the picture of the property on February 6th, and you can see they got quite a large pile out there. Some of the things that I was concerned of, there's actually what looks like an interior, almost like an end table, which obviously is not designed for outdoor use. There's also some type of bedding that you can see in this other picture here. It looks like one of those ones almost like a collapsible bed that you could roll away and bring out when you have guests or whatnot. But they have all kinds of things kind of strewn out through the yard that way. The Rubbermaid containers there and other things like that.
Probably got a little trash mixed in there with it.
Yes, and we have another case on that.
Oh, okay.
There was another picture of a table there and another chair not designed for outdoor use. And that was on the same date. This was actually on the compliance date of March the 10th. And you can see there's actually been some items added to the pile there. It appears to be some type of almost like a baby bed, if you will, or some type of framing for a bed. And then there again, there's that end table or whatever it is that's up under the tarp there. They also then brought out this, looks like an old entertainment center or something like that. You'd put a small TV on or a VCR or something like that. And this was this morning, as they have not taken care of it. This case got continued from last time because we also wanted to address some of the trash issues and other things going on at that property. So we had sent a subsequent notice on that and then just continued that one to this date as well. So as you can see, they still haven't really cleaned anything up there.
Were those covers on it last month? Those tarps?
Yeah, those tarps, they've been on it the whole time, so I don't even know what all's under there.
Okay.
And again, as you can see, like I said, some other items have been added to it.
Getting worse.
Yeah, it's growing.
Okay.
So obviously, compliance could be met for this violation by removing any items that are not designed for outdoor use, and either they can take them inside the interior of the residence, or they can remove them from the property. And then our recommendations for this case would be to request compliance on or before June 24th of this year for the violation of exterior storage, not for outdoor use, or a fine of $150 per day for each day the violation exists, is what we would ask for.
Okay. May I have a motion on the first violation?
Yeah, I was going,
Go ahead. No,
okay.
I was to make sure nobody else had questions, but I was jumping in on his job.
Do the first one then. Questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have a
Move to
discussion?
enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before June 24th, 2023, If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
Thank you, Board.
Second.
Thank you.
A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Case number 4323, St. Laurent Holdings LLC, 1620 North Fort Harrison Avenue. Welcome.
The owner's here.
Okay. If you please step forward and state your name. You've been sworn in, correct?
Yes, Frank Persicino.
Okay, address?
1628 Cleveland Street.
Okay.
1404.
Thank you. Do you admit the violation or deny the violation?
I'm still working on getting the property up to, addressing these letters. I've been trying to work with the local architect, but to no avail. You go meet with them and they tell you they're going to do something that doesn't happen. So I hired back an architect that I hired back in 2015 that had done the drawings to redo the whole building.
Okay.
And he's committed to do it. He gave me a letter to show. I don't know if that's something I can hand to you.
Wait,
He said that he will have.
Right. The first question was, excuse me, whether or not you admit to the violation, then you can explain
Yeah.
After you make that determination.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, I guess it's in violation. Sure.
You're
Thank you.
admitting?
You're admitting violation.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to be convicted, but I admit.
No, what
No,
you
it's
did
not that
say-
kind of
It's
ghost,
code
not that kind of.
enforcement board, it's nothing on your
Yeah,
record.
If you
or
don't,
harmless.
if you don't mind having a seat for a minute, let Dixon explain it to
Oh,
us.
sure.
Yeah, do we have a
I
first
move to
motion?
find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good afternoon, Board. Greg Dixon, City of Clearwater Code Compliance Inspector. This is case 49-23 for 1620 North Fort Harrison Avenue. Currently, there's 2 violations at the property. They're in violation of Code Sections 3-1502C1 and C3 for door and window opening maintenance, and Code Section 3-1502B for exterior surfaces. Notice went out at the end of February with compliance in April, and I did get the certified mail green card back. This is the property on the day that the notice went out. It just needs some fresh paint, some rotted wood cleaned up. There's some boarded up windows and doors. And then this is today. There has been some work done. Some boards have been removed from the windows. Some other wood's been replaced or removed.
What about, can you go back?
Yeah.
What, is that soffit up there? What am I looking? I can't hardly tell what it is from here. It looks rotted over the doors or over the.
Yeah, there's rotten wood around.
Okay.
Around
Okay.
multiple places.
Okay.
But some, you can see some has been replaced, at least around the pipe column.
That's what I don't see. I'm talking about the eave down over the
Right.
door, not on
not
the
that.
roof.
Not that.
You mean where it doesn't sit in there quite right? Is that what you're pointing at, the middle door?
No, I'm talking about across the top.
Oh, yeah, it's mostly peeling and faded paint. It's not like.
Oh, is it?
rotted.
Yeah, I couldn't
It
tell
looks
from
that
here
way, but not.
if it's rotted or just peeling.
It probably needs some attention.
Okay.
And this is today. So some work's been done on that little porch on the north side of the building. They've filled in a couple of doors. There used to be some fascia up there at the edge of the roof that was rotten wood. I don't think it was serving a purpose, but it's been removed. So some work has been done. There's just still some boarded up windows and doors that need addressed, and probably a fresh paint.
Okay.
Compliance can be met for the windows and doors by having all damaged or broken windows promptly restored, repaired, or replaced. Remove all boards from windows and doors. And compliance can be met for the exterior by replacing any defective structural or decorative elements of any building wall. And ensure all exterior surfaces are free of mildew, rust, loose material, and faded and peeling paint. Recommendation for this case is I request compliance on before August 1st. If the violations continue to exist, impose a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day the violation continues to exist.
Okay. Can we have him come forward? Can you come forward and let us know your steps?
What's that?
Let us know what you're doing, what your plans are.
The remaining
a lot of the remaining work requires, an architect to design. So I contacted, the architect that I'd hired a few years back to redo the whole building. And he said he will have plans to me within 4 to 6 weeks, and at that time, I guess I can hire a contractor and submit for plans with the city.
Okay.
So I'm looking for an extension, if you will, for, before having any fines assessed or anything like that.
Okay, and what was the document you had that you wanted to share?
This is from the engineer that made the commitment. Should I put it over here, hand it to you?
Sure, yeah, on the side, just lay it on the side there and show.
He just said he's going to address these violations for me, and
Okay.
he's from Tampa. I wonder if I can just ask a question while I'm here, because I know you have some people from the building department over here. He just wanted to know if he closes up some of these windows, are there any historical considerations for the building? Or can we just put siding over any window and that kind of thing?
I would say get with the permitting department and ask
Okay.
those questions
Yeah,
directly to
we
them.
wouldn't know that.
Okay, that's fine.
above our pay grade.
What's that?
That's above our pay grade.
I understand. He works in Tampa, and, they have like historical rules for their buildings. And I told him I didn't know of any, but I can get with Dana. I've spoken to him in the past about the building.
Definitely, if it's historical, I would definitely check first.
It's a 100-year-old building, so I will check with Dana.
Yeah.
So we're set
and
for
make sure.
August 1st. Do you want to give them?
I would defer to them for timeline,
You-
based
well-
on what he's saying.
Yeah,
August
I think
1st.
the first step really is to talk to the building department and find out if there are historical considerations, because that's going to affect what your engineer architect does in terms of his drawings.
Okay,
And so, once you're able to get his drawings, those will get submitted, or if you have a contractor. It's not your primary residence, is that correct?
no, it's
Okay.
not.
So you'll need to have a contractor involved, and then he can submit the permit documents for permitting to the building department. That's a process. If everything is perfect, you'll get your permit. If not, it may take a little longer to get things adjusted, questions answered, so on and so forth. My suggestion would be for the 90-day extension and then get an update at the time to see where things are at, see how progress is going.
So you should set it for July? You want to set it for your July
No, I
meeting
think-
for an
I
update?
think more than that. I don't think we're going to have much by July. I think, well, July.
We're just asking for an update, right?
Yeah.
August 1st?
August 1st would be the date that the city's recommending, but if you put it for July for an update, you can then determine whether or not where they are, and you can move that date of August 1st.
What's the current?
So what date is our
Get
July
an
meeting?
update, okay.
Right.
Okay. We have a-
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
go ahead.
We have a motion for that.
I don't know what
That's
I'm.
not, it's not in the book, just.
No, I make a motion to extend until July, what's the date of
First.
July? July 1st?
Well, what's the July meeting?
Yeah.
July meeting.
That's what I wanted.
Oh, yeah, that might help, wouldn't it?
Given that he said 4 to 6 weeks just to have these drawings, I don't know, we might not
That's
even
why
have the
I'm
drawings.
Well, we're gonna bring you back for an update.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I'd just like for you to keep us.
And if you need more time, we'll deal with that then.
appreciate
July,
it.
You,
July 26th, your
All
motion.
right, I make a motion to extend this case until July 26th for an update
yeah,
at the board meeting.
I'll second.
Just
All
to
in favor?
clarify, that's for the second phase of the case. You've already made a decision that there's a violation.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And this is just to grant an extension, so we
Okay.
can
Right.
find out how it's going for you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You have it.
Thank
got
you.
it. Thank you, sir.
We're in such a small group tonight.
Case 50-23, 1472 Pierce LLC at 1472 Pierce Street. That's a one-off.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is John Stevens, Code Compliance Inspector for the City of Clearwater. This particular case, we're just requesting a declaration of violation since they came into compliance, but it was after the compliance date.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Case 51-23, Florida Land Trust Agreement, Silveria Christine Trey at 2709 Via Cipriani, number 534A.
Good afternoon, Board. Sarah Green, Code Enforcement Supervisor for the City of Clearwater. Same as the last case, this property came back into compliance prior to the meeting, so we're seeking a declaration.
I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We can do all 5 one together?
Yes.
Okay. Affidavit, accept the affidavits of compliance as listed for case 108-21, case number 03-23, case 18-23, case 20-23, and case 22-23.
I move to accept the affidavits of compliance as listed.
Second.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Case number 225-19, consider request by petitioners Angel Investment Group of, on the back of my page, of Tampa Incorp. at 1044 North Madison Avenue to reduce the fine. Good afternoon.
Yes,
If you don't mind stating your name and address.
my name is Ray Gainey. My home address is 12802 Polani Court, Odessa, Florida.
Okay.
Ray Gainey. Yes, I'm Gainey, Gainey. I'm the owner of Angel Investment Group.
Okay, thank you. And you're here today to try to reduce the fine?
Yes, I was asking to have the total of the fines reduced to $2,500 on the case.
Do we know if everything's been brought up to,
What are the,
has
what are the, what are the particulars? of that?
yeah, has everything been brought up
We
to
have
what
no
it should be?
information. Or do we?
Nelda?
Jared Simpson with the legal department. I can tell you some of the costs and the total amount. It's my understanding that the property is completely in compliance at this
compliance, okay.
time, but it did have a long history of code enforcement issues. Told that the total amount is around $303,250 is the total lien amount. The investigative costs were $754. The administrative costs were $771.20 for a total of $1,525.20 for the costs to the city. And then I believe it was Inspector Espinosa that handled the cases, and she could speak to the details of that, the current condition, timeframes, and that sort of thing. But it's my understanding that it's all the code issues have been resolved.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd
thank
like
you.
Do you have how long it was?
Nelda can probably tell us.
She does,
that.
okay.
Good afternoon, Board. Milta Espinosa, Housing Inspector, City of Clearwater. I have been to the house. I was there in the last, May? In the last month, beginning of this month. All has been corrected. All the issues that have been cited or was cited have been corrected.
Well, how long has this been going on? That's what we need to know.
The case was first brought before the board in October of 2019. They were to be in compliance by November of 2019, and they came into compliance just recently.
So we're talking 4 years
End
then?
of March,
Yeah.
beginning of April, end of March.
So he's offering 2,500, so somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 is the number,
I have a few more questions.
certainly.
Have you owned the property this entire time?
Yes, I have, sir. I purchased the property at the tail end of 18, and in an attempt to help a single mother, I moved her in 19. Once the violations started occurring, we went into COVID and a lot of other issues with tenants and things of that nature. And I'm a one-man business, so the amount that I had to incur, it took some time to get over the humps. And Ms. Nilda, she also had COVID at some point in time, so it's been a 3 or so year nightmare, but I'm just happy to have it all
And cost
done
of the
and in
city was
compliance.
just over 1,500.
Right, but he's offering this, so you want to go for
Right.
that. Or that.
And what was the amount of the gentleman's request?
2,500, the offer, which is offer.
2,500, the cost to the city was a little over 1,500.
Your, just so you know that your policy is not to reduce it below the cost.
Right.
So that's, you can't go below there. So it's anywhere between that number and the lien amount.
Okay.
My only concern is that it, even with the COVID, everybody suffered through COVID, but it took 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had
That's my only concern. It took that long.
I had issues with the tenant that was in there at the time.
I know, but we, everybody does.
Right, so do you want to make the number a little
He
higher,
did-
2,500?
He did
Yeah.
bring it into compliance.
Yeah.
And
It is.
we didn't have, I will just point out, just devil's advocate for the moment, that as an individual business owner, he did bring it into compliance. He was helping somebody.
Yeah,
There
I
was
agree.
Yeah.
COVID, it affected a lot
Are
of
you
people.
happy with the
Put in
2,500
advance.
or more?
I would go even between 1,500 and 2,500. That's what we did in the previous case.
I like 18.
I'm good with that.
I think, I'm going for the 2,500.
Okay.
I understand you're offering that anyway, and that's a big difference between 300 and 3,000.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
of course, yes.
I'm in favor of the 2,500, so that's
All
where,
right, let's make a motion.
Okay. First motion?
You
Did
just
we ever
need-
make a first motion?
no,
You just need to use your reduction. Is there in there, or you could just say we reduce it to $2,500.
Okay, I'll just do that. It's a lot easier. I'm just going to reduce your fine from 300 to 3,000 to $2,500.
Second.
Sir?
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your
Could
time.
you pay that within 30 days?
Yes, within 30 days, yes.
Thank you.
That's important too. Thank you.
Okay. Case number 19-20. Consider the request of petitioners Jeffrey Rothschild at 600 Edenville to reduce the fine. Here.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to make a request that, that you kind of adjust your agenda on this one. And that's because if you look further down on the agenda, you'll see that this property is on your
Abatement,
nuisance
yes.
abatement lien filing list. And because that's going to give you kind of the current condition of the property,
Okay.
I'm going to ask that you make a motion and switch those two to hear that first. Obviously, it's your discretion of the board, but I think it would be helpful for you to hear what's currently going on with that property before you address what to do with that old lien.
Perfect, thank you. Have to have a motion for that to switch the two?
We
I make
have
a
a motion to switch that?
You're okay.
Okay.
We don't usually do that formal aspect of that motion.
Okay, then I'm going to go to case 56-23, PNU 2023-00273 and PNU 2023-00274. Accept the nuisance abatement lien and respondents Jeffrey Rothschild at 600 Edenville for lot clearing operative vehicles. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Dave Jensen, City Clearwater Co-Compliance Inspector. This is for 600 Edenville. Case number is 56-23. Two violations. First is, oh, I'm sorry. Yep.
Oh,
Okay. If you'd like to give him a moment. Step forward and state your name and address.
Jeffrey Rothschild, 600 Edenville Avenue,
Okay.
Clearwater, Florida.
And this is,
I couldn't hear what was said before, so I don't know what
Right.
I'm doing.
We're looking at the nuisance abatement right now. We're going to look at that first, and then we'll consider the other aspect.
Yes, I've gone through a nightmare. I'm a veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder, stress and anxiety disorder, and panic disorder with agoraphobia. I have went to have a tumor removed from my side, and because I don't have family or friends, I have to stay in the hospital because they'll be responsible if I go home and die. I got home, and there was a woman with over a half dozen cats in my house. My kitchen window was broken, and she was in there. I immediately called police.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. If I,
Yes, certainly.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was just asked if we could just present the city's case
certainly.
as to the, so
Certainly.
we can kind of narrow the issues of what we're talking
This is all part of the issue.
Right, he's going to explain it, and then
no,
you'll be
you beat me
back.
to it. I was going to do that.
You'll come back up after he shows us the
Okay.
the case.
So sit back.
Yeah, we'll call you back.
Admit or deny, though.
No, this is on a nuisance abatement. We need, the city has the burden of showing that there is a nuisance that needs abatement.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Salzer.
Welcome back.
Hey, long time no see. All right, so two violations, code sections 31503B5A for accumulation of weeds, debris, trash, junk, and 31503B6 for an in-op vehicle. This is the notice dates for the mailings, compliance date, and the registered mail was returned undelivered. The property was posted. I have pictures of that later here. This is from back when I first started looking into the property on the 23rd of March. You'll see there's garbage, a box, looks like this is a dryer. This is from the front. This is the in-op vehicle we'll look at here in a minute. This is from the front of the property. This is the rear yard taken from an adjacent trailer park, which we've received complaints about the property from them. This is taken from the trailer park property where they've given us permission to go onto their property and take a look at this. This pile here, for the most part, has been removed. This pile, I don't know if it's the same because it is under a tarp, but there's still a pile of stuff there. Some of these items you'll see in a minute have been removed. Some items have been added onto the area. This pile of stuff here are screens, doors, that sort of thing that have been there the whole time. This is from April. I'm assuming that's the pile that was under the tarp. Don't know for sure, but again, there's stuff that doesn't belong there, buckets, clothing, totes. This is another view from the front in April. Here's what looks like that washing machine or dryer you can see was right over here. This is another washing machine or dryer. Tote, there's some shoes on top of that. This is the in-op vehicle. Since I started this complaint back in March, the vehicle has not moved, tires have not been inflated. Don't know if it's roadworthy or not. These were just taken on the 10th of this month. This is the rear yard, again from the 10th. This stuff is still here. This pile of cinder block and things has been here the whole time as well. Again from the 10th. And this is just, yesterday I believe it was, I took these pictures. So again, we have more stuff added out here, more buckets. The washing machine or dryer, whatever that is still there. The in-op vehicle is still there. This is from the rear yard again, sorry. Same pile still hasn't moved. All this stuff that is still there has not been taken out of there. Some things have actually been added over on this side. This mattress is something new. Not really sure what's under that. It's hard to see the rest of that pile of stuff. These are the notices for the property and the vehicle. Compliance can be met for the accumulation of weeds, trash, debris, junk. Rear and side yards are to be clear of the appliances, junk, debris, clothing, scrap, buckets, totes, doors and screens. The inoperable vehicle, tires need to be inflated, needs to have a current registration and operate under its own power. For the violations, accumulation of weeds, debris, trash, junk, and in-op vehicle, we are asking for compliance 5 days after the board renders its order.
Thank you. Sir, if you would like to come back up for a
I
moment.
have one question for Mr. Jensen.
Yes.
I know it's hard to tell by looking at the pictures, but it looks like that the accumulation has been there for quite a while, and you can tell by the car, the dirt on that car, that's been there quite a while too.
Yeah, you can go back, you're looking at the property on Google Maps, that car's been there for years.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
I know that street and I know that house, and that's why I'm asking. Okay.
Is the amount of debris and stuff increasing? Is that what I understand from your?
Some of the stuff has been cleaned up. It's hard to tell if some stuff has been moved, but yeah, the backyard is getting cleaned up. However, that last picture here, some of this stuff right here, that mattress or whatever that thing is, that's new. That was not there before. So again, this table's okay to be there. It's an outdoor table, but yeah, some of the stuff, it's hard to tell if it's been getting shuffled or, again, this is the south side of the rear yard. The north side, that one pile is gone. However, the other pile's further toward the front of the property is still there. So.
Thank you for the pictures. They really help.
Thank you. Sir, if you'd like to come forward again.
Do I start over or do I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what we're looking to do is this is what the recommendation right now is for the city to come and clean up your property since it's been a problem for you to be able to get it cleaned up. So that's what we're in discussions right now, to have them come out and clean it up.
But I feel like I need to explain what has happened during this
Yes.
time.
I just want you to know what we're talking about, so you know.
Okay, so I have post-traumatic stress disorder, stress and anxiety disorder, panic disorder, agoraphobia. I had to have a tumor removed from my chest, and when I came back for a years later, there was a woman with half a dozen cats living in my house. I called the police immediately, and she said that she was there to take care of me, maintain the house, do the housekeeping. And I said, I don't know what she's talking about. The only relatives I have live in Europe, and I talk to them maybe once a year. I said, I'm all alone here, and I made no such contract with her. And the police asked her, how long have you been here? And she said, just a couple of days. And they said, well, then it's a civil matter, and we can't be involved. This woman stayed in my house for a year and did over $50,000 worth of damage to my home. And all of the junk that's around the house is from her. I have pictures that I presented to the court trying to remove her. I tried to remove her as a tenant, but she's not a tenant. Tried to remove her as a squatter, but even if I was in a hospital, I was still in residence. And they determined that she was an illegal occupant. And I had to make motions to have her removed as such. I finally got rid of her 2 weeks ago. When I went into the room that she was in, has its own entrance, she had taken the walls down. You could just see the studs. Everything is a mess. A lot of the stuff that was originally there is not there because I've moved all the junk that they had in there out. I've been trying to get rid of all this stuff. None of it was mine. I didn't go picking up trash from other neighborhoods. And in the 88 pages of documentation that I sent to the judge about this, I had pictures of what that yard looked like before, and I still have them, and I can present them to the board, and what happened after that she moved in. My kitchen alone has $20,000 worth of appliances in it. 2 French door refrigerators, they pulled the copper out of them. $40 worth of copper for a $4,000 refrigerator. They punched holes in my dishwasher, my electric gas range. They took a hammer to the oven doors. My induction range doesn't work anymore. I've just been in tears trying to fix it up. I've been throwing away over a dozen truckloads of stuff. I'm not supposed to lift more than 5 pounds because when I went back to the hospital, I have to have eye surgery, and I didn't want to go, but I went because my vision's getting worse. And while I was gone, they broke into my room. I put a padlock on it, and they took all the electronics, and I didn't realize it, but they got into my banking information, and luckily my banker called me, and she said, since when have you been using little checks? Because I only asked for a long check that they made, the cashiers, to pay for my Mercedes, my BMW, and my boat. That's the only times. Everything else I use a debit card. And she had made a check for $4,000 to do the landscaping of my house. I'm sure he could tell you there's no landscaping that's been done. And then repairs to the home for $1,200 and $1,000 to fix my Volkswagen. I've never in my life owned a Volkswagen. So that's major fraud. And I was told by the synagogue that I should call the police every time they did something, but the police were very forceful and hateful to me. You know, they told me at one point they had 3 officers, 2 apiece, and one of them was trying to argue with me. And I said, sir, I can't argue with me. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I'll go into a panic attack, and you'll have to take me out in an ambulance. And one of the officers in the back said, yeah, and he's a fag. How do you speak to someone like that?
We don't need to address that. That's not part of it. Wait a minute, slow down a little bit, okay? Take a breath.
I'm upset.
I know you are, that's why I'm saying, I don't want you to go into a panic attack. I understand those, okay? Just slow down a little bit. Let us ask a few questions. It might help. One I would like to ask, you're saying that she accumulated all of this while you were in the hospital, right? But what about the car?
The car is mine. I have uncontrolled diabetes, and my vision has been damaged to the point that I cannot drive anymore. Mm-hmm. I used to drive it to the edge of the property, started driving.
But that was over 4 years ago.
Yes.
See, and it's been illegal stores for 4 years.
A policeman stopped me and told me, you can't even start this car. And I had gotten fines for not having insurance, but I had doctor's notes that I couldn't drive anymore. And then
why didn't you get rid of the car, sell it?
I paid $80,000 for it.
But still, if you can't drive it, what good is it doing?
Well, I got rid of my BMW, my boat, and my truck. I was hoping that I could get someone to just drive me in the Mercedes.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's a beautiful car, it's convertible and everything. And I stopped driving it to the driveway because the police stopped and said, I can't be driving it because it's not registered anymore. So I let it sit. And when I got the first notice, I called Mercedes about it, and they told me, well, we'll send someone down. Turns out I had lost the key. It cost me almost $1,000 just to get the key. And when the service manager came and verified the car, she said, do not start this car. She said, it's been over 3 years since you started it. She said, the gas in the fuel system has sediment, and it'll ruin your fuel injection system. So you have to empty the gas tank. And she says, even if it doesn't show it, it shows it now. The tires are going flat. You have to change the tires. And because everything is so electronic on it, you need to get a new battery.
Right.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a question. What's your plan with the car? What are you going to do with it?
I want to get it going so that I can try to sell it. If I sell it with it not working, the most I could get is $4,000 for it.
But you understand it's been sitting 4 years. It's kind of hard for us to, look at it in terms of, okay, well, after 4 years.
I always wanted to drive it, not drive it myself, but have the car.
I get that.
And it's been very difficult going without a car. I have to Uber everywhere I go. It costs me $40 to go to the VA.
If you're not driving, your only choice then is to divest yourself of it, correct? To sell it.
Right, but I didn't want to, I had asked about options, and they told me, well, give it to Salvation Army, and you'll get a tax write-off.
It's not worth getting a lien over.
I'm sorry?
It's not worth getting a lien over.
Correct.
Well, that's why I tried to do what I could do, find out what I could do to sell it. And I'm in the process of doing it. I just can't do it over time. Even when I try to address smaller issues, I end up having panic attacks.
I know, but you still had 4 years to face all this.
I left it until they started complaining.
Who did you bring a lawsuit against?
I'm sorry?
Who did you bring an eviction lawsuit against?
Yeah, you're in the city of Clearwater.
Who's the person?
Judge that starts with a C.
The person's name who you brought the suit against?
Oh, it was several people. I had to bring one against each person. The main one was Denise Headington, and the other one was Mark Voigts. Then
Okay, I got it.
her daughter and their two nieces.
These are the people that were in the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
These people were even abusive to me. They would slap me around. I called the police and they said...
Did you know them beforehand?
I'm sorry?
Had you met them
Never
before?
met them before. And I made that statement the first time I talked to police, and about the last 3 times ago when I called police, a policeman came up and he said, you mean you've never met these people? And I said, I have never met them.
What, did they break into your house?
Yeah, my kitchen window was broken. And I'd never met her before, and I told them that.
This case was dismissed. No one showed up for the hearing.
Yes, I had the last court date, and they stole my mail. I didn't know what it was. I tried to call the judge's office to find out, and I spoke to his assistant, and it's right there on their thing. She says, I do not return calls. I only answer by email. I've got like 4,000 emails. I couldn't find it. I didn't know when it was. And they said I missed the court date. I said, I need to restart the case. And he said, you need to start all over.
Okay.
So
Of course, there's no active case.
The only way I got rid of them was I told them, I'm going to get rid of you sooner or later, and I'm going to hire another lawyer. I plan to hire another lawyer to get rid of him. And I have the lawyer's name. And they said, well, we'll just appeal everything like we had before, which they were doing. And
Well, let's thank you for your time, first of all, explaining everything. What we're going to do
so
is...
I told them that
Hold on a sec. We're going to look for a way to remedy this. So let us look for a way to remedy this. Right now, your property is overridden with stuff on it that doesn't need to be there. It needs to be moved off property. So thank you for all the explanation. I think you've said everything you need to say for letting us know that the things that are happening to you, and we certainly appreciate all that.
Okay.
So if you don't mind taking a seat for a moment. So
Okay,
that
just
we
one
can...
more thing. The only way I got rid of them is I told them, I'm paying this lawyer $3,000. If you move out and you see me deadbolt the key and I trespass you.
But they're out.
But they're out, so that's why we're not going, that's why we're not going through this.
Now, we're facing what's in the car.
We're talking about what's in front of us, not what happened.
Right.
So thank you for what happened. Now we're going to talk about what we're going to do. So thank you.
And I'm glad they're out for you.
Yes,
You're
happy for
safe.
you.
We're glad they're out. Yeah.
Yes, happy for
So
you.
we're faced with,
Mr. Chair, just to bring it back to the issue at hand. The
Yes,
city
please.
is requesting a 5-day deadline from the date of the order being rendered, and then after that, the authority to enter and remove any of the accumulations within the property.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
How long has the stuff been accumulating? Is it the same length of time as the cars has been going on for 4 years, or is this?
Excuse me, it's hard to tell. I couldn't give you a date on that because I did not start looking into the property until we received a complaint from the trailer park that butts up to the property on the rear yard side.
It's a guesstimate at best. It looked like it's a lot of it's
Well,
been
and
there
that's,
for a while.
yeah, I mean, I started looking into this in March.
Yeah,
so-
the car's a dead giveaway, but the
Yeah,
front.
and again, you go back and look in Google Maps and, you know, just looking at where the car is sitting now, it's right up against the house. It doesn't look like it's moved from there, and I believe it's been about 3 years.
Oh, I've seen it.
So-
I have a friend that lives 3 houses down from this one, so I've seen it.
So it's, I mean, the car has been there, and again, as far as the accumulation of stuff, the complaint we received from the trailer park that started all this, they were having some trespassing issues with people coming through from their backyard into the trailer park
Yeah,
property.
right.
Using their facilities, pools, laundry facility and stuff like that. Our complainant at the trailer park did say they've had 2 people sell their trailers and back up.
Yeah,
to the
that's a
property
nice trailer
because of
park
the issue
over
there.
there.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's what's giving rise to this. And-
Right,
and
it's a
trying to
blight,
get
it's a
it-
blight to the neighborhood at the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, our goal is always just to get the stuff, you know, abated. But again, too, this has been going on since March. I have not heard, this is the first time I've had any chance to see or meet this person, so I have not received any contact. When I posted the property, the staked posting and the one I put on the car were removed. I reposted them to make sure that
Oh, really?
people are seeing them, you know, so that.
They were, really, they
Yeah,
were removed.
yeah, and again, I mean, that's not saying that, and the reason I always make sure I repost the stuff is I don't know if a property owner's moving it or if some
Yeah.
kid comes along, sees a stick in the yard, just to make sure they see the stuff. But
Well, thank you. I think we're ready to make a motion.
I have a comment. From my viewpoint, I sympathize with the owner, but with the amount of time this is going on and questioning his, you know, what's he actually going to be able to do? I mean, I'd love to help the guy, but, you know, what's he actually going to be able to accomplish? And maybe it's a better scenario to get this stuff
Get it done.
out of there. You know, I mean,
I agree.
the other consideration is the fact that with the park next door and the effects that it's created there, it's not fair to them to let it
Correct.
persist either.
Yeah. That whole street's kind of mixed bag there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough one, it really is. We feel for you.
I'm sorry?
Well, I'm just talking relative of the inspector here. We feel for the defendant here, or the litigant, but yet,
Are we
we
ready for a
really know
motion
what
then?
we have to do, yeah.
Yeah, we're ready for a motion then.
I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with the reasonable costs which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, if you want to come forward, we'll explain to you. Yes,
And we also need to address 6.2.
Right.
yes.
Sarah, I'm having hearing issues.
Yeah, hold on just a second.
May I just, the board just addressed the accumulations in the car on the property, and they've imposed a 5-day deadline to take care of those issues. And if you're not able to meet that, then the city's going to be authorized to go in there and take care of it for you. If that happens, then there will be another lien that would be separate from the lien that the board is about to address, which is the lien related to the driveway.
I have a pending sale on the property, so I'm in a hurry to get rid of everything
Okay.
too, and they're helping me.
Well, this is going to be a faster motion. This is going to get faster for you now, because they're going to do,
So, Mr. Chair, with that, I felt that it would be helpful for you to see kind of what's going on out there now.
Oh, yeah.
And you can address this lien. This is an old lien that's related to another case that the homeowner has cured, as I understand it. When the lien reduction was requested, our code doesn't specifically require that everything has to be taken care of before they can come before the board. And we do want to give people the opportunity to be heard.
Okay.
So that's why they were both scheduled. I don't know if this is all kind of new to this board,
Yeah.
handling lien reductions, as I
Correct.
understand
Yeah.
it. So now that you kind of know what's going on out there, as far as the lien that's requested to be reduced, The total of that lien, it eventually accumulated to $64,800, and that was because the time period of the case running, and it was a $150 a day fine, and it took a little while for that to come into compliance. The investigative costs were $494, and the admin costs were $771.20 for a total of $1,265.20 in costs to the city. And the staff doesn't take a position on the reduction. I just ask that you keep in mind there are ongoing issues out there on the property.
Mm-hmm.
The property owner does have a little bit of time to take care of that before another lien would be recorded. So the best case scenario, if a reduction is granted on this today, he's able to take care of everything, and then all the liens there would be no liens. But in the event that he's unable to take care of it, that would result in a new lien that would be separate from what is being addressed through this reduction today.
The $64,800, that's on the lien we just got through discussing, or on the parking lot?
No, sir, that's related to the driveway, which is
Yeah.
an older case. They
Yeah,
the
6.2.
driveway and
Yeah.
took care of that.
Yeah, case
And so that's
1920.
set in that amount.
I just want to make sure I got
The
it straight.
accumulations, that hasn't occurred yet, so that will only occur in the event that he's unable to clean it up, and then the city has to go out there and take
Yeah.
care of it.
Right, and then they'll
And
clean it
then
up.
a new lien would be recorded after 3 months following that time. So, like I said, the best case scenario is he takes care of it, and there is no new lien created. But I did want to just be as clear as I could about the separation of those two issues.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained it. It's new to us too, yeah.
Well, generally, you will not see a lien reduction being brought forward unless there's been compliance. So that, unless it's a situation where everybody's in agreement to like sell the property or something along those lines, you're not going to see it. So that, I think the point he's making is that this is taken care of. Look at it, but still consider the history of the case.
Yes.
Yeah, anytime you're considering a lien reduction, you got to look at what the history, the current situation of the
Correct.
property, the gravity of it all, how big of an impact is it to the neighborhood. But apart from those considerations, we're not making any kind of recommendation as to how you reduce it beyond explaining what our costs.
The administrative costs, yeah.
So, board, we know pretty much everything. What's the thoughts?
Oh, and reducing.
Yes.
I have no history on the parking case and
Can I make a statement on it?
Hold on just a second.
how long that existed and what it took to correct it, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, it was $64,000 worth of fine.
$64,000 at a 150-day
It
would have
accrued,
gone off,
it
what, a couple
accrued
of
for a very
years,
long time.
something like that, so. But then again, it did get corrected.
I went online and looked at it online, the house and the parking lot.
Okay.
So do you want to reduce it to something in that area?
I don't know, I really don't.
Like 1,500, 2,000?
Was there a requested amount from the owner?
No, that's why I say I don't know.
1,500, 2,000, that's up to you guys.
Well, we can't go below, well, yeah, you're right, yeah. Or can't go below the administrative cost, that's $1,265.20.
Right.
I recommend that, to help him out.
What, 1,500, 2,000?
I like,
What do you think?
I think that, again, I sympathize with the owner and all of the stuff you've had to put up with. It's literally hell when somebody moves in your property. You have a hard time getting them out.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I sympathize with your problem, okay?
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, 1 second.
On the other hand, there's still another one, and I do want him somewhat motivated. And,
Right.
it would make sense, so I would propose like somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 to 2,000 on this particular one, and let's see what happens with the other one.
Somebody want to make a motion on that? With a number?
I don't know what to read.
If I knew what I'm supposed to
I'll
read.
go along with that.
All right.
There's a,
Won't you go and make it?
If I can find it, I would.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it? You know where it's at.
Could I make a comment on the driveway thing?
well, we're trying to reduce your lien right now, and we know
Yeah,
it's been,
hang on
and
just
we
a
know,
minute.
and we know it's been cleared up. So,
Okay.
The last thing that they didn't do was the contractor, who's very legitimate,
Right.
has good reputation with y'all. He didn't sign off on the last paper and that's why they said it wasn't completed. But I had come to one of the meetings with a certificate of
Right,
commencement.
we're agreeing to reduce your lien right now because we're counting it as completed.
I did too.
Correct?
That's a different issue.
For that
The
issue.
building department, putting the contractor in the building department, if anything remains to be done there. Our sole purpose here is to consider a reduction of the lien for all of the lien costs for you, to make it more reasonable and fair. Okay?
Okay, we got a motion.
I move to enter an order reducing the amount of the lien to administrative costs of $2,000 payable within 30 days?
30 days, yeah.
30 days, or the lien will revert to its original amount.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you on that. We've reduced your lien from 64,000 to 2,000.
That's a big
That's a
drop.
big jump. That'll help you with,
That's a lot, but I live on $900 a month Social Security.
well, you
Well,
said
when you sell the house.
when you sell the house,
proceeds
it'll help
hopefully
you a
will be able
lot.
to Contribute to that.
Yeah.
It'll help you tremendously.
Yeah.
Leave you more room to make money.
Thank
Thank you very much for your time.
Who's selling that house?
Right, thank you for your time. We're finished.
Someone from Price Waterhouse is where I worked is going to buy it.
Okay,
Good.
well, thank you.
Maybe
Good.
Well, have a great day.
And we wish you the best of luck in
Yes.
that too. We
Yes.
really do.
Thank you.
It'll work out.
It'll be fun.
work out.
Okay,
Thank you.
but all that junk and the traffic was
Right.
not me. I
Right.
have agoraphobic.
We understand.
Right, we're
20 years I never had a
we're
visitor.
moving on to our next case now, so thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
don't let it depress you any more than else.
Yeah, don't think about it.
Thanks.
Okay, and so you've lowered that, and then about fixing the, getting rid of the rest of the trash?
The court order is for 5 days
President,
for them to
is there any
remove.
way I could get any more than 5 days? It's so hard.
That's already been decided by the board.
That was decided.
It's 5 days from the date of the order.
You can let the city come in.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case 57-23, PNU 2023-00357, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Lowell Kelly at 1445 Cleveland Street. Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, there's no password.
You're not Mr. Stevens.
I'm not. But I am IT right now.
Well, thank you for getting this for us. Last case.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, Board again. John Stevens.
Thank you.
City of Clearwater Code Compliance Inspector. This is case number 57-23, reference 1445 Cleveland Street. Again, I still haven't seen Mr. Kelly or a representative from his property show up. This is going to be a nuisance case. Number of violations, one here for 3-1503B5A, which is going to be accumulation of placement of nuisances. So this is going to deal with the actual things that we know are trash on that property compared to the exterior storage case earlier. So this property was actually mailed a violation and physically posted on April 27th with a compliance day of May the 7th. The certified mail did not come back on this one, so the physical posting, like I said, was also put on the property on the same date. There's a photo on the 27th with a picture of my actual posting out there in the yard. And you can actually see a bag of trash right next to the posting there in the back.
And the dead palm tree, yeah.
A couple other things going on there. Some more trash, looks like possibly almost like a starter from a car or something else down in that bucket, but there's things all out throughout this property here. They're obviously trash. It's kind of hard to see over here, but inside of this like laundry basket, there's electrical cords and all kinds of stuff, and then this appears almost to be like pieces maybe from some type of refrigeration unit or something like that, or a radiator type system just stacked up. Some metal scraps there, and I'm not sure what they're doing, obviously probably scrapping or something of that nature. Again, these were all from the April 27th date. And that picture didn't get taken out, I apologize.
Seen that one somewhere else.
I recognize that.
Yeah, I apologize on that, but you saw the pictures earlier from the earlier case that obviously those things have not been taken care of. So we can request compliance can be met for this by them removing trash and debris from the property and maintaining the cleanliness of the property on a regular basis. And then our recommendations for the case is we're asking the board to authorize the Code Compliance Division to take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance if they don't come in compliance within 5 days.
We have a motion.
I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply with the time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property, to abate and maintain the nuisance and charge the respondent with reasonable cost, which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. And with that, this meeting's adjourned.
Yay.
That was quick.